with Marley's cancer. Insurance-backed doctor are like, have a hysterectomy next week.
It's a ticking time bomb.
Non-insurance-backed doctor said, you have time. Go long-term extended water fast. Afterwards, got yelled at by the insurance-backed doctor for healing yourself.
It doesn't do you any good if you have anxiety disorder to do intermittent fasting. Getting a regulated nervous system back is your priority.
A lot of people think health is biology or chemistry, but it's actually physics.
Jesus healed people simply with energy.
Where's your energy going? And when you know, that's when miracles happen.
You know, it's interesting. We got really into that again with Marley's cancer thing. So basically, backstory, right? We go to the insurance-backed doctor, and they were like, you have to basically have a hysterectomy next
It's a ticking time bomb.
They said, it's ticking time bomb, cancels your schedule. What do you got next week? And we're like, holy cow, super fear, right? Crazy fear, mind spinning. We reached out to a non-insurance-backed doctor and did full blood work. Then I did blood work as well. And then the biggest thing they said is, you have time. You already have cancer. You always have. Yeah, it starts in the blood. Everyone has it. It starts in the blood before it ever attaches to anything. And the biggest thing they said is, go fast. And go water fast, long-term extended water fast. And it kills... Right, you go and you start just
autophagy. It starts to eat the
get
bad
through all the
stuff.
carbs, and then by day 3 you're in autophagy. And so we started doing long-term water fasts and a lot of greens, all stuff that you're supposed to go do.
Cruciferous vegetables.
Really is the fasting, I believe, because we went back afterwards, and then you got yelled at by the insurance-backed doctor for healing yourself.
Yeah, she was not happy about that. I know.
We found out they get $1.5 million. They get $1.5 million in the first 6 months of a new cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
That's why they got mad. And we were like, what?
Yeah, so we don't go to that doctor anymore at all. Like, I'm not interested in being yelled at or gaslighted. And it's funny because now, the last time that we went to the, what do you call it? Insurance-backed doctor.
The system.
The last few tests have come back, no evidence. But there's still this big pressure to still have the surgery and take these body parts out and go.
Preventative surgery.
Preventative. And don't worry, there won't be any side effects. You're taking out body parts. I know you're the doctor, but I don't believe you.
Side effect is no body part. Among all these other things.
Yeah,
scar tissue is not a thing.
I did have, but then when I go to the functional medicine doctor we work with, I still have cancer markers in my blood work, and we just got a test back. Was that yesterday? I
think so.
Yesterday, the week's been crazy, but yesterday my numbers went up a little bit. So now I'm like, okay, tighten up the protocol. But I love that it's like the same thing in business. Like, we look for data to make decisions. So I have these tests that I do with my functional medicine doctor every 60 to 90 days. So I have the data to see, the cancer markers went up. Okay, we got to tighten up these things. Or even having the full body test, because I look at every organ and all the minerals and imbalances and toxicities in my body to be able to see, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Like, there was a phase where I was eating so many vegetables and juicing so much, and I thought that I was doing everything right. And then one of my heavy metal results came back that, like, my thallium skyrocketed. And I was like, what do you mean I'm doing everything right? I thought, well, no, the type of kale that I was eating had a lot of thallium in it. But if I didn't know, if you're not testing, you're guessing. So it's crazy that a lot of people, like Scott and I, were going to make a documentary called The Medical System for the 1%, because the 1%, the rare people, I think they take a different route to their health. And funny, actually, right before you guys got here, I got a phone call from a center here that they do this 10-day retreat that I've kind of had my eyes on. And when I got the test results yesterday that my numbers went up, I was like, well, maybe I go do this retreat. It's 10 days where you do hydrocolon therapy for 10 days. And it's funny that you're saying the correlation between the brain and the gut. And
was that death starts in the colon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that was a sign that I should go try it. I've done a lot of. I've traveled to different places for different kinds of therapy.
We're full woo woo.
We're very woo woo.
Yeah. I mean,
woo.
It's funny. We always talk about, like, oh no, it's alternative medicine. Actually, that was the original medicine.
Yeah.
Everything we do now out of an orange pill, that's alternative medicine.
Yeah. Pharmaceuticals is the alternative medicine now.
What? We're gonna get back to some basics here.
For a second? Yeah. We talk about medicine and energy and everything like that too. If you think about how Jesus healed people and performed miracles simply with energy. He had the perfect energy. And what do essential oils, homeopathy work on? Your energy.
Yeah. A lot of people think health is like biology or physics or biology or chemistry, but it's actually physics. It's electrons, neutrons, like where does your body have, I can't get into the technical stuff of this, but like where is it charged? Where is it losing energy?
And the next phase was it that first started in chemistry and then biology. Now medicine's going physics. It's interesting.
We need a microphone.
Something on that?
Yes, and then we'll come to you, and then I know
I
Caleb.
do not want to talk about everyday health. That's actually, my wife and I were talking about what's our goals walking in. And so I'm really appreciating you guys all having this conversation. And, but we wanted to get pregnant and all my counts were low. And my wife discovered this homeopathic doctor out of Australia, and we did a consultation and she sent stuff over. The homeopathic doctor sent stuff over, and then also did stem cells in there. Then we also did, some healing treatments involved in psychedelics, where we got to just clear out all the trauma in our relationship and then have this deep, incredible connection. And now we have a 5-month-old. Just absolutely amazing.
He's adorable. Makes me baby hungry.
Yeah, so
Whoa.
Betsy's now signed up to
I'm done.
I've never heard him say that ever.
I love kids. We got 3 daughters. I love
Rare thing.
Yeah. I love babies.
So Betsy just signed up for 2-year homeopathic.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's that, I believe that all of that is the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's now.
Yeah.
We had a just as you're
Pass
passing
over
over there, we had a really interesting energy doctor we were working with, or coach, I guess, and he was trying to teach, energy. It's how do you see it, right? So it's kind of this weird thing, and and so he's trying to teach me more of that, and he goes, you need to learn. Anyone else like super empathic, like you feel room? I'm very like a vacuum. That's why I used to get bodyguards when I went to Funnel Hacking Live. It's because I was like at this wall, right? And he's like, you gotta stop doing that. You need to learn to be felt instead of always have the energy be pulling in. You're holding everyone else's stuff. You need to learn to be felt. He's like, I can prove it to you. And what he had us do, he's done a lot of cool. We worked with him for about 2 years. Actually, he texted me yesterday. Random. He said, I'm going to teach you right now how powerful frequency is and the fact that it's so real. And he learned this from different monks and things. And he took this little thumbtack and he took this little square tin and he balanced the tin on the thumbtack. Okay. It was really small. And he started meditating and he put it on the table in front of us and he turned his head so that it wouldn't be, it's not his breath or whatever. And he started meditating and breathing in this way. And I'm not kidding, shooting frequency out of his hand and he would spin it without touching it. And then he was like, I'll go the other way. And he started breathing another direction. And it wasn't like he waited for the stop. It went the other way. And he's like, I'm going to teach you how to do this today. I was like, okay. So it took a while, but he started teaching me how much frequency our bodies are just putting out, right? And our words are spelling, which is what we call it, spelling, right? When we write things out. And all the frequency that's coming out of our bodies, if we're very intentional with it, we are literally, there's a whole other world out there, right? And it was so interesting. I put my hand around this thing and it took a while, but he taught me how to build up my field and build up the energy around. And I was glowing. I mean, I can't describe it another way. It was so interesting to just feel my own frequency and vibration just go through. Because every time I heard that, I'm not going to lie, I thought I was like, that's woo-woo, right? I just thought that. I was raised in a home like that. It's witchcraft, priestcraft. It's not real at all, right? Very religious home, very religious background, and very, very, I am religious. But man, realizing that connection between the spirit realm and the physical realm, it took a while. And wow, I spun it. I was like, that's crazy cool. Imagine what that does in our bodies with healing and with food and with medicine and what we're doing and our goals. We're pushing that out, that amount of energy. What he taught me from that was that he's like, you're not actually good at your health. You don't do anything to actually recharge. You're actually always giving from a cup that's always pouring. You're never actually giving from an overflowing cup. And that's where the needs thing started coming in. Oh, it was so key when you came in also. So anyway, yes.
So that's good. I'm an OG anxiety addict. I have my favorite anxiety is health anxiety. And I started having health anxiety in 2009, and I became a truck driver in 2014. I went on a countrywide tour of emergency rooms. Just constantly thought I was having a heart attack. Constantly. Two truck drivers in the same parking lot as me died one day. And
Two in the same day?
And they were pulling them out. It was, and I was just convinced that I was going to die of a heart attack in the back of my truck. And I wasn't married at the time. And so I had health anxiety before it was cool to have health anxiety after COVID. So
That's a t-shirt.
all of those people can kick rocks.
Yeah. OG anxiety.
So that's why I blew up so fast, because I was teaching on health anxiety in COVID. And then all of a sudden my Deprivation just blew up. But I've studied this as far as intermittent fasting and everything goes, because we did keto, and I'm also an MLM addict. So we were doing intermittent fasting, and it wasn't working for me. And my stomach, because your stomach is a muscle, right? So when you have an overactive sympathetic nervous system, your muscles are always tight. So if you're sitting there with your fists like this, after 10 minutes, your fist is going to hurt, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're doing that with your mind to your stomach for years and years and years and years.
And then you wonder why.
And so you're releasing cortisol into your body with that. So you're fasting. So the only thing you're losing is muscle. You're not losing any weight. So everything stays around, and then you're just sore all the time. So until you can actually even out get your parasympathetic back activated, then it doesn't do you any good if you have a anxiety disorder to try and do intermittent fasting or to try and do anything else. The only thing you should focus on is getting a regulated nervous system back as your priority, because otherwise you're just releasing all these chemicals that are eating away muscle that's just doing damage to your body.
I love your passion for this.
It's powerful.
Hi. Everyone's sharing so much rich and powerful information from your heart. So I haven't been sick in 18 years, and my intention is to live to 100.
Heck yeah.
So I do that. I have trees in my bitty house. A garden, sorry. I have a tower garden that we eat out.
Oh, we love our tower garden. Isn't it in here somewhere?
Yeah, I forgot to bring it home.
It's indoors. You have lights on it, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here's our garden. We have 4 fruit trees, and I'm just upset because we had 760 lemons. We eat a lemon a day, each of us, and we just ran out. And the lemons with the weather changes, it hasn't been the same. So we're going to actually buy lemons. But the point is, we eat really carefully. We choose where we buy our food. We choose who we eat with. When we go out to eat, we're very, very careful. Not very careful in that we can't eat whatever we want. We can eat whatever we want. We choose to eat what really serves our body. So I'm also a mountain climber, and I stopped climbing about 2 years ago when I started having injuries. And what happened in July, it was my 70th birthday in Alaska for 3 weeks, and all those temperature changes caused my body to be old. But not congested, not sick, but just like cold. So I went to the sauna. It was too hot. I got out. 3 times I got out. The 3rd time sitting there, and I suddenly fainted. And I haven't fainted, I can't remember, ever. Well, that's not true. I fainted with my first husband. But not because of him. My first husband died 26 years ago from diabetes, which is a family disease. Anyway, I fainted. And I ended up going to the doctor. And what happened is everything about my body is okay except my liquid. And that doctor, like yours, wanted to do surgery. And I kept going, give me a chance. Give me a chance. So I have a chiropractor. I have an acupuncture. I go to the gym. I have a massage therapist who is a healer. And I have doc. I also have to have a cardiologist before I only see him once a year. And he wanted to know what happened to my head and all that kind of stuff. And be insistent putting a link recorder in my chest. But it hasn't recorded anything in 2019. So functional medicine, right?
Yeah.
It's different.
Big
So
fan.
I got released after 90 days from the surgeon. And I just climbed my first mountain on Sunday.
Hey, great.
It wasn't a very big one. It wasn't 19,000 feet or anything. It was just that I could go up and down without.
It's amazing.
And so
That's great.
I believe our bodies are self-healing.
Yeah.
We hire getting the chance. The one thing I haven't heard anybody mentioned, which I think is an absolute priority. I'm only 70 and I don't sleep more than 8 hours. But if you don't have sleep, your body can. So I beg you all to consider that as a number one priority. If you want 3 things to do every day, make sure sleeping.
Can we hand it over to
Thank you so
Kaylin,
much.
and then we'll
Thank
go
you.
to Jacqueline?
It's funny. I used to think sleep was, not needed, and I've never prioritized it more than now.
Yeah, so I'm kind of a total contrarian when it comes to a lot of this stuff. So I've tried to remember different things to say. Trying to think of where to start.
So removal is just as important as what you put in. Obviously, you need nutrient dense food, and a lot of us we've cleaned up our food to a degree, but we're still using crazy soaps. We're still spray tanning. We're still, using, oh my gosh, like laundry detergents. I'll smell those on people like crazy.
Yeah.
And there are all these endocrine disruptors that cause hormone issues. And I like to ask these questions because I look at my grandparents who really could eat anything, never got sick, never had any problems, ate potato chips, hot dogs, whatever. And so when you start thinking about it, it has to be, because I see so many people who eat clean, which I don't even know what that means for most people, because that's always different, but it's got to be something more. And so there's different things here. So, one book I would suggest is What Makes You Ill, if you're worried about any sort of chemicals. It's a great book. Okay. And then there's another book, The Invisible Rainbow, going back to the whole shot, autism, that sort of thing. I've had this idea because we've lost this conversation about electricity. So I was driving down here today, and there's these high voltage power lines, and there's all these houses right underneath the high voltage power lines. Mm-hmm. And I was up in Stanley a few weeks ago, and they had a huge cell tower right next to the school.
Ooh, that's bad.
And you can read all about it. Mm-hmm. There's like 150 pages of citations in the book. Yeah, right. Well, so it's not that that we have to dismiss technology, but certainly it's interesting to note how it can create, a leaky body, a leaky brain, and then you start thinking about all the things that are in shots, and then you think, well, one kid may be taken home, they may have a Wi-Fi router right next to them, and another kid may not, and then you wonder what's the discrepancy. Hard to test in a psychological or like an actual study. And then you have to get into the studies, and so I'm kind of like over the science. But to go back to your point, and yours as well, sympathetic and parasympathetic, think about praying before you eat. Like a lot of our grandparents prayed before they ate, and they set their state, and that controls how the body actually handles the food.
Great point.
Which is different than what most people think. And then we've had all these fads, intermittent fasting, and if you do too much of that, then you can actually downregulate your thyroid and other hormones as well. And so you've got to be a little bit careful there when you go on the fads, because it's so easy to get thrown off course. So I would just say question, and then try to find somebody who questions. and yeah, maybe you find some different answers. So hope I didn't
love that.
too much.
No, yeah, there was a lot of audible agreements
A
in
lot
the.
of them.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That was
one of the biggest things we learned too, is like, okay, fixing the inputs is one thing, but you also have to like clean it out. But we got rid of like laundry detergent.
We changed everything.
Everything that was a soap is now different.
Yeah.
We're getting EMF protecting things all over the place now. It's like,
Yeah.
that's the new cigarette.
But like
right?
the cell phones are the new cigarettes with the EMF. Right. Yeah. It's so expensive to have that.
Crazy.
But yeah, we changed our laundry detergent, our soap, our cleaning supplies, makeup, shampoo, conditioner, like
Everything.
all the things.
And then sauna, infrared to purge it out, ice baths, all that stuff. But it's been, I love ice
them.
baths.
We had Jacqueline right there, and then there was some in the back too.
First of all, you don't have to use laundry detergent at all. You know that there's a system you could put on your washing machine that they use like in space.
What?
And it creates the ions, and it literally will clean your clothes with nothing. Just the water.
Huh.
With the ion thing. Anyway.
All
that's all I
right,
use
we'll
on
need
my
an
household.
affiliate link.
Yeah, anyways, I know. But so anyways, that's what I use.
Sold.
A friend of mine is all I do. told me about it.
Yeah, wow.
I was going to say with the anxiety thing. So I struggle with anxiety, depression forever. And I react really weird to pharmaceuticals. And so they always try to put me on one, and then I have weird side effects. I have all kinds of problems. And so...
that's part of the value ladder. They want you to need more.
I know. Right. Well, exactly. And so I wanted to try TMS, which Deno knows all about because he has a clinic that does TMS. And
What is that?
TMS,
transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Transcranial magnetic stimulation. Yeah, obviously.
There you go.
That was what I was going to
There
say.
you go. Well, it changes like the part of your brain, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that deals with depression. So it actually like is kind of recalibrating you, I guess, if you will. At least that's the way
That's what you do.
He has a clinic that does that.
That's right. That's right.
And so also when I was going down this path, I have ADHD, so my brain spins at night. I mean, I struggle to get it to shut off and turn off. And so one of my business coaches was like, well, have you considered tapping? And I was like, what the heck is that?
Oh, yeah.
And so she was like, resetting the meridians on your body. And I'm not joking. I would spend hours a week at night. I can tap for 10 minutes and I'll be knocked. Like that.
What is tapping?
Tapping, EFT. The tapping solution is the most...
like different places on your body that you tap in a rhythm that...
It's really like acupuncture, but with you just use your fingers to do it. So that's what I use to try to help. Because 99% of my problems is my brain. Like,
and previous me would be like, that's so woo-woo.
Yeah, I know. I thought that forever.
I'm like, tell me more.
Anyways.
Yeah.
It's so fun to have this discussion with you guys because I just believe that our bodies are just these amazing tools that, like, I truly believe. Here we go. Well, we're here. And so here we go. I believe that we're here to just grow. And that's it. Grow experience, get education. The body's the tool for doing it. And our soul's going to go back to heaven later. And God's going to be like, so what'd you think? How's that body? And be like, man, some of that sucked, right? And he's going to be like, yeah, but you learned. That's awesome. You went in like this and you came out like this. I'm like, that was a good. Send me back in. I don't know how something can come back. I don't know. Free incarnation or whatever. But that's kind of how I envision it. It's like this life is just a school. We're all messing up. No one really knows what's happening, right? It's like we're all just growing. So it's so cool to like be around people who are conscious about that. I believe our bodies are what's under attack as much as our brains. If you can't function, you can't grow. Yeah. Please. Scott.
One of the health things is way before most of the stuff we were talking about. I mean, we touched on it a bit, but we were talking about power source and alignment. Alignment was number one. And it's kind of the thing that lots of folks don't talk about unless they have spiritual practice. Alignment meaning vertical alignment, alignment with source. Because with that, you got your happiness, you got your self-worth, you got your power. That's where you got your love. And also when you have that, you got your hand on the rudder of your life. Now your life is resonance. That's what's going out. It's not reflection, like unconscious, like, wow, I have no say in what's happening in my life. Now, with the alignment, when you got your source, oh my God, that's attractive. And that's, law of attraction right there. People are going to either resonate and come close or not. You don't have to fight. You just have to focus and enjoy and be that person or, keep your thought right. Yeah. All about alignment. And, that makes a difference because that gets you into that parasympathetic state. You relax. So now your food's working for you and your body's working for you. And it's not, and you got all your energetic parts. All right. Everybody's used a siphon before, right? So you got flow going through a tube and that creates suction. Now, can I say something crazy?
Please.
All right. So check this out. And then we'll talk polarity just for a moment. So if I've got a vertical channel and it's fluid, spinal fluid, and it's also energetic, the more flow that I've got going up and down, the more open it is, the faster it is, the stronger it is, the more my parts stay mine. The more my power stays mine. That's why I was talking about power source before, because if people are going vertical, then we're like-minded people. If people are pulling horizontally, those be the sharks and the vampires that'll eat your vision, your power, your dreams. And so meaning you stay vertical, you keep your parts, and, everything else sorts itself out. And then the last part was about polarity in relationships. Everybody knows the feminine symbol and the masculine symbol. All right, so imagine laying that on your body for a moment. Masculine symbol, the big circle on the bottom, little stalk on the top. What's traditionally masculine? Taking up space, money, sex, power, directing style. What's traditionally feminine? The big circle on the top, little stalk on the bottom, like everything above the diaphragm. That's right. Heartfelt, want to talk about it, thoughtful. Meaning, my masculine and feminine is how I'm focusing and how I'm using. So if I'm going to be directing all the time and dense all the time, I'll probably be the masculine one in the moment. But if I'm more all up in here, then I'm going to be the more feminine one. And if my feminine partner comes home and wants to be feminine, but I am too, magnet. Tough. That's tough. So somebody's got to hold the low space and the dense space, stay aligned, vertical. And when you hold that dense space, there it goes. Anyways, thanks.
It's powerful. Thank you, Scott. Dr. Scott.
That just triggered my thinking. So my background, aside from being in the military, is massage therapy and cranial sacral therapy.
That's a very different career shift right there.
A lot of different jobs. It's like 26 different than 2 jobs would be.
That's awesome.
I counted up once and it was stupid.
Anyway, but with cranial sacral therapy, the balancing of the cerebral spinal fluid from the brain to the sacrum, and it's connected throughout the body and the fascia. And a guy, as like I'm going to say, in my previous life as a massage therapist, I've worked with so many people and have had such profound, like, permanent, miraculous results doing the cranial, and it has to do with intention and being in the body and just feeling that energetic alignment and like being like it's not me doing it, just like being that channel to connect with what's present. And I think there is huge potency in being present, and there's so much focus out there in the unconscious that it takes being able to recognize that. It's like the story you were saying with where's your energy going? And when you can really know where you are and the space that you're holding, that's when magic happens and that's when miracles happen. And so whether it's something going on medically or physically or mentally, there's probably something out of alignment with who you are and who you want to be, but who you're saying you are. Who you're saying you want to be.